Good morning, NBT Nation. Good morning. It's a Sunday morning pop up live, back to back pop up lives. Did one yesterday, doing another one today. Today, my friends, we're going to talk about instead of chasing people down who skip your training sessions, what do you do? In other words, you've got a scheduled training session and you have those chronic people in your organization who always find a way to be a little too busy, be unavailable. They just can't make it. They sign up, but they don't attend. What do you do? And instead of chasing them down, how do you deal with that effectively? And that's what we're going to get in today. Unfortunately, that's one of those chronic things as a trainer you have to deal with. You put together this big, elaborate, fancy training, and consistently somebody skips it. So we're going to dive into that today. If you find this interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so we can keep making great content like this. For more content about how to align corporate training with overall strategy in the business to drive business impact, to drive business goals, or if you're a trainer and you want to have sessions that don't put people to sleep, that you get results, not yawns, visit noboringtraining.com. So you're a trainer. What do you do when people start skipping your sessions? What do you do instead of chasing people down? And we're going to talk about that right now. So what do you do? The first step in the process is do a little bit of introspection. If you've consistently got those groups of people that skip your training, make sure your training doesn't suck. Look in the mirror first. Make sure you're following NBT practices. Make sure that your training sessions align with the overall business strategy. Make sure that they're engaging, they're interesting. You're following the 6 pillars of interesting and effective training. Make sure you give feedback surveys from the participants. Make sure you talk to frontline managers. Make sure you follow up with senior leadership. Make sure you analyze the data, that your training is actually effective and impacting whatever it is that the training's about. Make sure it's not a you problem. So let's start with that. Let's just assume that you've done that. You've done all of the things you need to do and that your training doesn't stink. But that's the starting point. If you have those people in your organization who consistently blow off your training, you have those teams that no matter what you do, that team or groups of people on that team consistently skip your training, start looking in the mirror first. That's number one. Quick little taste of coffee there. All right. Tip number 2. Now, this is pulled from my personal experience where you have a leader who consistently allows their team to skip your sessions. You've got that leader that consistently allows their team or people on their team to blow off your sessions. Here's what they're going to do if I'm a betting man. They're going to approach you afterwards and say, well, just, Jim Bob couldn't make it. Just send me the info and, or just send me the material and I'll do the training one-on-one with old Jimbo. Nope. Tip number 2 in today's presentation, don't shortcut, and don't let the manager shortcut. So if you've got a manager who consistently lets their people blow off the training, don't let them shortcut the process by having you just send them the information. They're going to do it one-on-one. The same thing with the participants. If the people who consistently skip your session say, we'll do a follow-up session. I'm looking over at my notes here. I'll just do a follow-up session. Can we get together one-on-one and you review the information with me? Nope. Can't do that. Here's when my next session is, and you can sign up for that one and attend it. Or when the manager says, oh, just send me the information. Nope. Have your person reschedule for the future. So don't allow the shortcuts. Once you start putting that boundary in place, either the people who skip or their managers, they'll get the hint. All right. What do you do as a trainer when people start blowing off your sessions? and especially if their manager allows them to blow off the sessions. Here's what you do. Tip number 3, track attendance and report it out to the entire organization, including senior leadership and the manager group, the relevant, let's say there's 6 managers of a particular group, and there's the one team who consistently blows off your sessions, or people on that team blow off the sessions. Report to the 6 managers the attendance and do it in a percentage, and do it green, yellow, red. In other words, in this example, you've got the 6 teams and there's that one problem team that keeps blowing off all your trainings. Report out to all 6 managers what is the percentage of their teams that have completed the training, and then do it green, yellow, red. So 90% and above is green, 80 to 90 is yellow, and anything below 80 is red, something like that. And now that manager will come up as a very low percentage and in the red. And it's reported out to all of the managers and senior leadership. I guarantee you do that, people are going to start asking questions. People are going to look at that and go, there's a little bit of the peer pressure element, but also the senior leaders and the other managers are going to start to go, there's going to be some side eye at the next manager meeting. The purpose of doing this is not to be passive aggressive. It is not to be snarky. It is not to be disrespectful or rude, but just let the facts speak for themselves. If you have participants that consistently blow off the session, and especially if they're clustered in one particular team, just report out by team in terms of what percentage of that team has been trained, do the whole green, yellow, red thing, and let the facts speak for themselves. That is a great way to get the point across that there is a team that is consistently skipping the training, or clusters of participants consistently skipping the training. NoBoringTraining.com. Be sure to visit when you get a chance, and like and subscribe to the channel here. All right. Here's another way to go about it. You've got participants that skip your sessions, or you have teams where the manager allows that team to skip your sessions on the regular. So here's what you do. Tip number 4, report out the performance gains of the groups or participants that have attended your training. Oh, Sally Sue attended my training and got a 34% increase on the close rates of the projects in their pipeline. Jimmy Joe attended my training and was able to increase productivity rates by 7% and got 34 more widgets made per hour. Team Blue attended my training. They were able to complete the work, blah, 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 with a quality improvement of such and so percentage. And they got a quality improvement bonus of an hour of free time at the end of the week. Really highlight the teams that are attending and the legitimate, sincere performance gains they're getting because of your training. Use that good news as a lure to those individuals or teams or managers that are skipping the training. Put out real reinforcement, concrete examples of why the training benefits them and what the concrete payout will be from attending the training. All right. So there you got it. Make sure your sessions don't stink. Don't shortcut. Don't allow people to short circuit things. If they don't attend, sorry, I'll catch you next time. Track the attendance and report out to all of the managers of that relevant group in a percentage basis, green, yellow, red. Report the performance gains. Number 5. Yeah, number 5. Geez, haven't had enough coffee here on a Sunday morning pop-up live. Report out on the underlying issue that prompted the training in the first place, combined with the attendance stats. In other words, we'll go back to the example I used before. You've got 6 teams. The training is for whatever, safety. the training is particular to some sort of chronic safety issue out on the production floor. So report out by team what teams have attended the training and what is the improvement in safety for that team. It's a bit of a play on what I just shared. But that combination of the metrics of the underlying issue combined with the attendance of your training will start to paint a picture. It will give, again, it'll put it back, it'll put the focus back on stats and metrics, and just it is what it is. Here's the data in black and white, as opposed to you're an upset trainer and I can't believe it. They never attend my training. You'll get the focus off of the emotion and you'll get it on the black and white data. And that data will tell the story for you. The underlying issue for the training, again, going back to point number one, assuming that your training is good in the first place, you should start to see performance improvements for those training sessions. And then if you report out combining the performance improvement or the underlying issue tracking with the attendance tracking side by side, that paints a very clear picture. You will start to see teams that are underperforming and not attending the training. Dun, dun, dun. That's not good. You will see teams that are underperforming and not attending the training. So report out with statistics about the underlying issue and attendance in your training. And you will see the patterns. Like I said, whether it's by team, whether it's individuals, you can break it down. It takes a little bit of work on our end, but that work is far more effective than randomly chasing after the participants who keep skipping, randomly going and sort of debating with a manager. You've got facts now. And that work to put all that together also is a benefit to the organization because now you can report out to senior leadership, not only that, hey, these participants and teams are skipping my training, but hey, here is the impact on the organization from the training. We invested XYZ amount of time. Here's the impact on the underlying issue. And oh, by the way, here's the participation stats. So report out based on underlying issue and the attendance stats. All right. So we're cooking our way through kind of a quick NBT live here on a Sunday morning. If you're finding this interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and visit noboringtraining.com. The last tip, enforce the practices and processes. So as I sort of said at the beginning of today's presentation, it's shocking, or it's not shocking. Experience says that the people who chronically blow off the training, whether it's individuals or groups, and the managers who let that happen, there's a pretty interesting correlation between the groups that blow off the training and the groups that underperform, the groups that violate, deviate, circumnavigate the processes and practices of the organization, and the groups that just cause havoc, chaos, and heartburn for everybody else. If you're a service team, so if you're in training, if you're in HR, if you're in IT, if you're in accounting, something like that, you feel the brunt of these people who deviate around whatever the SOP is. They find a new way to reinvent the wheel and sneak around all the processes, and they leave havoc in their wake. I've seen it. These gray hairs didn't come out of nowhere, and I've seen it happen again and again. Where there's a strong correlation. People blow off the training, they never learn the process, they never learn the procedure, they never learn the practice. And whether it's the individual, the team, or the manager, they're the ones that create all the heartburn in the organization. So, point number 6: you want to get more people in your training and not have to chase them down. Enforce those practices and processes. Now, this one requires some leadership support. This one's going to require the senior leader and the manager crew at large to support you. But the more you enforce the processes, procedures, and practices of your organization, over time, you're going to get more people attending your training. Because the first time somebody blows off the training and then they try to go around the process, and everybody from leadership to the management to the people who provide or the support that process, and everybody in uniform goes, "Nope, nope, you got to follow the process." Well, I don't know what to do. Did you attend the training? No. Attend the training, learn the process, and then I'd be glad to help you. Again, this is a holistic approach. It requires leadership support, the other managers, your other service providers in the organization. But I guarantee you, when you start holding people accountable for skipping the training and not knowing the process or practices, if you start holding people accountable that no, this is not the way you do it. No, I'm not going to do you a favor this one time. No, I'm not going to let you skirt around the rules. No, we have to enforce this. When you start doing that, over time, you'll see more people attending the training on the front end. It's amazing how when people say, "Nope, you can't you can't snake around in the background and get things done and work around the practices, work around the policies," that all of a sudden then people will come to the training. They will invest time in learning how to do it. They will take the time. So enforce those processes and practices, get some accountability. Now, it's going to take some time as a trainer to convince your leadership to enforce it. It's going to take some time you interfacing with the managers, especially the managers that do support training and getting them to buy in to it. It's going to take some time for the people to, as a trainer, to work with the people who support those processes and practices to make sure that they toe the line and that they don't buckle and they don't let people bend the rules and they do make people follow the processes and practices. But if you can pull that off, getting people to come to your training sessions will get a lot easier. So there you have it, my friends. Make sure your sessions don't stink in the beginning. Make sure your training is effective and valuable and good so that people naturally want to attend it. Number two, don't let teams or individuals shortcut coming to the training when they say, "Oh, just send me the presentation and I'll figure it out," or "Just send it to me and I'll do a one-on-one training with my group." Nope. Absolutely not. You need to come to the session. Number three, track attendance and report out by team or individual and do it with percentages and green, yellow, red to tell the story in black and white of who is attending or not attending. Then report performance gains of the teams that do attend and use that as reinforcement for the individuals not attending as some motivation of why they should be there. Kind of sell it. Report the underlying issues data alongside the attendance of the training data, and you will probably see a strong correlation of the individuals and teams that blow off the training and not performing. And there it is in black and white. Put those stats together and then reinforce the processes and practices on the tail end. If the training is supporting those processes or practices and people skip the training, hold them accountable. Nope, you have to follow this process. Well, I don't know how to do the process. Yeah, I didn't go to the training. You better go to the training then, huh? So enforce those practices and processes. So there you have it, my friends. What did I miss from the list? What would you add to this? What would you what would your thoughts be? Add leave some comments down below. Let me know. Um, and I want to leave the presentation here really reinforcing this is not intended to be disrespectful, rude, passive aggressive, snotty, snarky. None of that. Just these are some tried and true approaches that if you approach them matter of fact, it is what it is. I just do the training, but here's the data. I can't help it that your team's not performing. You're not attending the training. How can we partner together to carve out a little bit of extra time so they can come to the training? You don't want to approach this as sort of beating somebody over the head. You want to approach this as, I'm painting the picture in black and white so that ultimately that manager or that participant who consistently blows off the training kind of figures it out for themselves that, hey, you know what, maybe I do need to attend, or at least engages in the conversation with you. Hey, I'm really swamped right now, but how can I get scheduled for the training in a couple weeks or something? You want it to be a partnership, not just sort of putting somebody on blast. But that those tips will absolutely get them to the point where they're willing to have that conversation. There you have it, MBT Nation. Like, comment, subscribe, visit No Boring Training for more services, products, free resources so that you can improve the training strategy in your organization. Or if you're a trainer, you'll get results, not yawn, from your training sessions. Thanks, everybody. Hope everybody out in MBT Nation is having a great Sunday morning. Let me know what you think about these tips. We'll talk soon.